because you just can't get enough of chromosomes, we have more on chromosomes. Yay. All right, let's get going. So eukaryotic chromosomes, as we know, usually occur in pairs. We're going to get into more detail on that in a minute. And the pairs of chromosomes contain similar genetic information. They usually have the same genes. If you stain a set of chromosomes, in the entire set of chromosomes from a single cell, it's called a karyotype. We're going to look at a karyotype in just a minute. And that's where you see, and a karyotype actually organizes the chromosomes into pairs. Most of the time, trucking around the cell, the pairs of chromosomes don't go around like holding hands. They're just kind of everywhere. But when they actually make a karyotype, they specifically move the chromosomes around so that they are in pairs. Okay? Both members of the pair are the same length and shape. They have the same staining pattern. The centromere is the same in the same spot. Telomeres are the same, all that kind of good stuff. Okay? These similarities occur because each chromosome in a pair carries the same genes in the same order. Okay? So let's look at humans, and most of you guys know this, so it should be review. Typical human cell has 23 pairs of chromosomes. So there's a total of 46 chromosomes in every human cell. Okay? Out of those 46, 22 of the pairs, or sorry, out of those 23 pairs, 22 of the pairs are called autosomes. Okay? Autosomes have similar appearance and are paired. We're going to talk about what this word diploid means in just a minute. So you have 22 pairs, I can't talk today, of autosomes, and one pair, that 23rd pair, is a pair of sex chromosomes. Okay? And the sex chromosomes determine the sex of the organism. And of course, we all know those are the X chromosome and the Y chromosome. So let's look at a karyotype, and this will all make a little bit more sense. So here is a karyotype, okay? And this is a human karyotype because it has 46 chromosomes. And because it's XY, that means that this person is male, okay? Female is XX, female. All right, and here you can see, again, all the chromosomes are lined up very nicely in their cute little pairs. This is on a slide in a lab. This is not how they look in the cell. Okay, but if you look at the pairs, you can see both of these pairs of chromosome 1, which they have blown up out here. They are the same length, their centromeres are in the same spot. They have all the same genes. Okay, and these are both duplicated because they were taken from a cell in mitosis. So they each have 2 sister chromatids. Okay, each pair of chromosomes, because they are similar, they're both copies of chromosome 1. Okay, they're similar. Okay, they have the same genes. They're the same length. The centromeres are in the same spot. All those similarities, but they're not identical. They're not identical because they came from each of your parents. So one copy of chromosome 1 came from mom, and the other copy of chromosome 1 came from dad. Okay, and that's the same with all the chromosomes. For chromosome 2, one copy came from mom, one copy came from dad. Chromosome 3, one copy came from mom, one copy came from dad. Okay, etc. and so on. Because these chromosomes, the pairs, are similar but not identical, we call them homologous. Okay, and when they arrange the chromosomes in pairs like they did on this karyotype, okay, they're all arranged in homologous pairs. If you look, last thing I want to point out on this karyotype are down here the sex chromosomes. Oops, that is not what I wanted to do. Sex chromosomes down here, this is the X chromosome and this is the Y chromosome. And you see the X chromosome is much bigger than the Y chromosome. It's pretty easy to tell them apart. So that's the sex chromosomes, and all the other pairs are the autosomes. So let's talk a little bit more about the homologous pairs. So chromosomes occur in pairs, okay? Similar genetic information, but again, not identical. So if you have chromosomes that contain the same genes, they are called homologous chromosomes or homologs, okay? If you have a cell with pairs of homologous chromosomes, okay, that cell is called a diploid cell, okay? So it has 2 copies of each chromosome. And we call that, we call that diploid. Let me make it a little prettier. That's a diploid cell. Okay. Now, in human bodies, nearly every cell is a diploid cell. We call almost every cell in the body a somatic cell. Okay. All the cells in your body are somatic cells, and they're all diploid, except for the gametes. Okay, the gametes. And remember, those are your sex cells, egg and sperm. And these guys are special. So they are what we call haploid. Okay, so diploid cells have paired chromosomes. Haploid cells do not have paired chromosomes. Haploid cell only has 1 copy of each chromosome. Okay, and these haploid cells, and these are, again, these are your gametes. Okay, gametes are the only cells in animals that are haploid. Okay, gametes, egg and sperm. Okay, and they're produced via meiosis, which we'll talk about shortly. Okay, so again, haploid cells have half the number of chromosomes as a diploid cell. Diploid cell has 2 copies of every chromosome. A haploid cell only has 1 copy of every chromosome. So we call haploid cells have n number of chromosomes. Diploid cells have 2n chromosomes. So n chromosomes for a haploid cell, 2n chromosomes for a diploid cell. So let's just look at that a little bit here. So for humans, we're actually going to go down to here to the bottom. That n number, the haploid number, okay, is 23. So our diploid number, when we have 2n, you multiply 2 times 23 and we get 46. Okay, so haploid number is designated as n, and the diploid number is designated as 2n. And for different organisms, that haploid number is different. So for example, in fruit flies, the haploid number is 4. So their gametes have 4 chromosomes, that's 1 copy of each. And the diploid number, all their somatic cells, have 8 chromosomes. Okay, pretty simple. All right, and again, these haploid cells exist because if we want to create a new organism, we take a sperm and we use it to fertilize an egg. Okay, so if a sperm has n chromosomes and an egg has n chromosomes, when we add those 2 together, we get our diploid cell. Okay, basic algebra. Okay, haploid cells, 1 haploid cell is plus haploid cell equals a diploid cell. Right? And that's all she wrote. Okay, so remember our key terms: haploid, diploid, homologous. What else did we learn? Centromere, telomere, chromatid, probably something else, but that's a good list to start. So make sure you know all that, and have a lovely evening. Bye-bye.